Representative from Brooksville, Representative Chapman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Friends and colleagues of the House, I'll be brief. I want to speak to the fear issue. I don't want to speak to the fear issue relative to the loss of our democracy. I think it's very fragile. I think we could lose our democracy quite easily. At the same time, I think it's useful to distinguish between the fears of losing our democracy through illegal actions, such as government takeover, tyrannical behavior, etc., and losing our democracy over legal actions, which seem to be one of the fears being expressed with regard to runaway conventions that can do all sorts of harm. So let me just quickly illustrate what the three protections are between where we are and where we would be if we went an Article 5 route. The first, and the one that has come into play in the past, is that Congress does not want to see an Article 5 convention for the very reason that it might threaten the power of Congress. And so in the past, when Article 5 conventions have been proposed and got close enough to the mark, Congress then took some action and came up with their own proposals. The second barrier is whether or not a convention could be limited in scope. And the decision is not Congress's decision. The decision is the Supreme Court's decision. There is no case law on Article 5 conventions because there have been none. But assuredly, there would be a case brought if a state chose to limit its topic in its Article 5 convention call, and that limitation was not being observed. There would be a case that would be brought, and the Supreme Court likewise would be self-interested in allowing for a limitation. Otherwise, their own power would be subject to being taken from them. And then the third barrier is the one already mentioned by the good representative, that is any proposal that comes out of a convention of any degree of chaos has no force of law until 3/4 of the states ratify it. So just to understand the process, those are the three barriers that protect us from unwanted activity. I would note historically in Maine, at least since 1911, every Article 5 convention call from Maine has had very strict limitations written into the convention call. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The chair recognizes